How do you build a creative culture? How do you get people around you to pull their awesome ideas together in a creative culture? Well, that's what we're going to talk about here today on Leadership to Go. Glad to have you with me. I'm Dr. Richard Jolliff, and I'm going to be sharing with you for the next few moments about how that we can continue to bring about change in a culture of chaos. This will be the last segment we're doing on this particular subject as we continue to move forward. But I've really enjoyed the last several weeks as we've been able to cover some of the information talking about what kinds of things do we do? What are the mindsets that we need to have to create a culture of change? That's probably the number one thing I get asked to speak about is that how do we bring about change? And the really awesome thing is that, and I think that this bears out in all of our teaching that we've done here over the last several weeks, is that the real change has to happen in us before it's ever going to happen around us. And of course, and it will, one way or another, there will be change. And so we have to allow those changes to happen in us. Hey, if you enjoy this broadcast, I would like to encourage you to subscribe and to become one of our subscribers. We're over 1,010, I believe, subscribers. And I'd love to have you as one of those subscribers. So whether you've connected to this through Facebook or through Twitter or LinkedIn, please take time to become one of our subscribers for our next level leadership development and of course the Leadership to Go videos. If you like what you hear, make sure to put a like. Give us the thumbs up, and we really do appreciate that. So we're talking about how that we can build a creative culture. I love what George Patton said. George Patton was a great general during the World Wars, and he made this statement: never tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do, and they will surprise you with their ingenuity. So there's a big difference between that. We're telling people what to do, and we're telling people how to do. People can come up with very creative ideas if we allow them to. And one of my favorite quotes is that, and I forget who said it, I think it was John Wooden, but none of us is as smart as all of us. And that can be really difficult if you're an autonomous leader who really wants to just have control over everything. That's going to be a tough thing for you to do. But there is a lot of creativity. So we have to, if we're going to build a creative culture, we have to encourage creativity, and we have to encourage the courage to be creative, to give people that opportunity. I love what Daniel R. Dennison, who is over the IMD Business School, said. There is always a premium on being able to deal with the unknown. People will venture there if they feel they'll be secure in doing it. And so we always have to keep in our mind that it doesn't always have to be our idea, or the new ideas don't have to be our ideas. That we can come along those new ideas and pull them together and create a creative culture where people can come in with ideas that make us think outside the realm of where we've been before, the status quo. Henry David Thoreau said this one time: any fool can make a rule, and every fool will mind it. Sometimes we have to gather those ideas around us, and they might break the rules, but we just say, look, let's put everything on the table and let's be creative. So to build a creative culture, we have to really get that courage into the hearts of people. Don't be afraid to think outside of the lines of what we've been doing or have done before. The other thing is that we really need to plan ahead to have a creative culture. If we're going to have that kind of culture, we have to encourage it, and we have to plan ahead for it if it's going to be successful. And so what we teach with this is that, look, we've got to become more proactive and less reactive. It's easy to be reactive, especially in an environment of change. We're constantly reacting to what's going on. And sometimes you have to react. I mean, you have no choice. You're going to have to do something about what's going on. But if there is time, and we do have a team, there's nothing wrong with coming into the room and sitting down with our team, or talking on the phone, or doing a Zoom call with all of them, and saying, hey, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you think we should do? So we plan ahead, and we just realize that we're going to have to be creative if we're going to be successful. One of the great challenges I received here recently was by Tony Morgan. Tony Morgan worked for Andy Stanley's ministry. Tony is wrote the book Unstuck and how to become unstuck. And one of the challenges that he brought during all of this COVID-19 culture and all the stuff that was going on, especially with churches, because I do pastor a church, was how we're doing video. And we just thought, well, we're just providing a service of putting out video for people to watch, and they get to at least watch what's happening in the service. That helps keep them engaged. Well, not necessarily. If we're going to reach people, if we're going to engage people, then we're going to have to connect to them through that vehicle the best way. And when a church service becomes like C-SPAN, where it's just information that's being put out there, there's no real connection. It's just like watching C-SPAN. You're watching something going on and you're hearing stuff, but you're really not engaged in what's going on except for listening. You're not making application of it because there's no focus on you, the viewer. But when we take time to, and that's what Tony was talking about, and when we take time to focus on the viewer and we really put our emphasis on trying to reach those who are watching at that particular moment, it does make an impact because it engages them, especially because they know you're talking to them, and what a difference that makes. So we really have to become much more proactive, thinking ahead. How are we going to deal with things as they come up? And always staying ahead. And that's one of the things we talk about in the culture of chaos that a leader has to do. You got to keep your eyes up. You got to keep your head up. You got to keep looking forward. You got to see what's out on the horizon. You got to see it and help get people to get there. That's what your gift is. Your giftedness in your life is to see further than others can see. And then to help lead them there. I think the other thing that goes with that is that we just have to realize that when we're in a culture of chaos, we have to allow time for acceptance, especially with changes that we're going to make. And that means there'll be resistance. And don't look at it as a bad thing that we're having resistance, because that isn't always necessarily a bad thing. It may help us to actually think a little more creatively, maybe think about some things that we missed. One of the things that I teach in our persuasion training is that the best way to deal with people's objections is bring them up before they do. Because if you bring it up, then you're really in control of the objection. If you let them bring it up, then they're in control of the objection. So if you really know where people are at, the struggles they're having, things they might be going through, things that they aren't going to like about this, get some views about, as you're trying to make changes, and just ask, well, what are your thoughts? Then you've brought up those objections. You bring those objections up ahead of time because you already bring up your solutions to those objections. And that's powerful. But allow time for acceptance. It takes time for people to really adapt and adopt new ideas. But that's the thing that we get to do, and to be a part of it. Absolutely make sure your key people know what you're thinking. Because if they don't know what you're thinking and they're out of the loop, that'll be a problem for you. Many a leadership crisis has been created by the leader at the top, and you have to communicate, and don't fall into the trap of just going, well, they all need to be loyal. Well, they all need to be communicated with. And so, they're all being loyal because they're there and they're serving and they're working together, but they expect loyalty back as well, and that is in the realm of communication. And then I think the last thing as we talk about how to create that culture of creativity is that we have to place a high value on ideas. Harvey Firestone, I've actually been to the Firestone home in north of Akron, Ohio, and actually the estate that they had there, which is absolutely beautiful. A good friend of mine, Neil May, his church bought that property there. And he said, this is the way he said it: capital isn't so important in business. Experience isn't so important. You can get both of these things. What is important is ideas. If you have ideas, you have the main asset you need, and there isn't any limit to what you can do with your business and your life. They are man's greatest asset, ideas. And there is so much truth to that. Innovation, the ability to create. You know, we talked about in chaos that one of the things that we teach is we innovate, we adapt, we overcome. We innovate new ideas. How can we do this? How can we do this better? There isn't anything wrong with asking those questions. And I think whether you're a church leader or you're a business leader or you're self-employed or you're just working, just taking a look at your own personal health or your own personal growth plan, that you have to look at how can I be more innovative in what I'm doing? How can I adapt that to my life? And then how can I overcome with those ideas in my life? When we take the time to do those things, they will have a powerful, powerful impact on us being able to create change in a culture of chaos. Comfortable, as one person said, comfortable isn't comfortable. Comfortable never got up before dawn. Comfortable won't get its hands dirty. Comfortable has nothing to prove. Comfortable can't get the job done. Comfortable doesn't have new ideas. Comfortable won't dive in head first. Comfortable isn't the American dream. Comfortable has no guts. Comfortable never dares to be great. Comfortable falls apart at the seams. So here's the thought. Don't get comfortable. Amen. Just don't get comfortable. Continue to challenge yourself. Continue to challenge yourself with new ideas. Continue to look at the chaos. We're in a time of chaos, of any time of uncertainty in our lives. For my generation, at least, this is the time of uncertainty. We don't know where things are going. We're heading into an election. By the way, if you haven't registered to vote, be sure to do that and get out and vote. We don't tell you how to vote, but we do tell you to pray and vote according to your conscience. But make sure you get out and vote regardless. But here's the thing is we are continuing to deal with this culture of chaos where we don't know about what's going to be happening with COVID-19. We don't know what the workplace is going to continue to look like. I mean, everybody talks about that it's going to get back to normal. What's normal anymore? What's normal going to look like? I put a quote on Facebook and Twitter, you know, that you know, when everything opens up and we can go every place that we always haven't been able to go, and go to the movies and go to dinner without a mask and all those things. Will we be comfortable again? I don't think so, because here's the thing. We've changed. We have changed in the midst of all of that because we have had to become creative. Parents have had to become creative in working with their children. Marriages have had to become creative. The workplace has had to become creative because we've been forced to. So life has become creative. People have become creative about their health. You couldn't go to Walmart or to Dick's Sporting Goods or to Meijer and find a set of weights to work with. Thank God I had some, but you know, you couldn't find workout equipment because everybody bought everything up. You couldn't find bikes. In the summer, you couldn't find swimming pools. Campers were hard to come by. Boats were hard to come by because people were being creative. They were thinking, okay, I can't do this, so I can do this. I can't do this, so here's what I can do. Here's what I can accomplish. That's creativity. And that's in that culture of chaos. So whatever you're dealing with in your business or your personal life or whatever struggles that you might have in ministry, in your church, open up yourself to ideas. Open yourself up to other people giving you ideas. Get a hold of some of these authors that have talked about the changing culture that we're dealing with. And always remember this, and whether we like it or not, and I don't always like it, but whether we like it or not, culture always dominates vision. And so whatever the culture is that is around you is always going to override whatever the vision is. So if the vision isn't really part of that culture, you can forget about it. The culture will pull it right down to where it is and destroy enthusiasm and everything else. So you've got to start with the culture that you've got and get that changed. That takes a little bit of time. It takes a lot of creativity. Hey, if you've enjoyed these videos that we've done on change and about the culture of chaos, let me encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Would you do that? And just to click on the subscribe button and go ahead, and you can even have the notifications that'll let you know when we're posting a new video. And give us a thumbs up if you've really enjoyed what we've covered during this time. We want to help you move to the next level. That's what I really believe. My wife Sharon and I, we are invested in our company to be able to help people move to the next level, whatever that next level is for you. And learning how to deal with a culture of chaos and to bring about change is one of the ways that we can do that. Hey, have a great week as we kick off this Monday and moving forward. And thank you again for subscribing and liking our video.